What is going on, guys? My name is Jonah. I'm going to be speaking to you guys today about the who are, in my opinion, among the top fantasy running backs this year going into the 2019 NFL season. Fantasy football is approaching, and I definitely want to get you guys there prepared. Quick disclaimer before I start. This list that I made is in no particular order. I just think that these are the top running backs that will produce the most that you should definitely target in the first round of your draft. The first running back I will mention is Saquon Barkley. Guy is an incredible talent. He had over 2,000 all-purpose yards last year as a rookie, 1,307 rushing yards, along with 721 receiving yards. That is monster numbers to put up as a rookie, and a lot of people are not a lot. I'd say a few would be worried this year about his production. One, because of the sophomore slump. Two, because of the fact that OBJ is gone. But I will say because of those worries, with OBJ gone, Golden Tate is there, and I know Golden Tate is not OBJ, but he's still somebody to take account for in coverage. Has about 100 receptions every year, so that's something that will still draw attention from the secondary and allow Saquon Barkley to do his thing out the backfield or line up as a receiver if he wants to. Um, with that said, Saquon Barkley had 91 receptions last year, 5.3 receptions per game. So if you're in PPR, that's pretty big, and 42 yards receiving per game, and 91 receptions. That's a good amount. Obviously, it wasn't Christian McCaffrey numbers as far as receptions go. Oh man, there goes the camera. But it wasn't Christian McCaffrey numbers as far as receiving goes. But it was pretty dang close, and he had 300 more rushing yards than Christian McCaffrey. So I think overall in nature, Saquon Barkley would be the better overall athlete as far as tangibles that are gifts for the running back position. So I'd say he's a safe number one overall pick if you want to consider Saquon Barkley. The next person I will talk about is Christian McCaffrey. Although I wouldn't take him over Saquon Barkley, still has a lot of great credentials towards his name. What I'll start with, he's played 91.3% of Carolina's snaps. That was 75 more snaps than any running back in the league. So that is a huge potential there for taking him in the top three picks in your fantasy draft. Going first round, he had 1,965 total yards, all purpose. That's receiving, that's rushing, not 2,000. Again, I think Saquon had a little bit more, but that's pretty dang close. And to have 107 receptions, which is more than most wide receivers, by the way, and still have over 1,000 rushing yards, I think that's pretty impressive and a safe pick if you want to use them for your first round. Next guy I'll talk about in the same division, Alvin Kamara. The guy has had 81 receptions, flat both years. Didn't have more than 81, exactly 81, but that's consistency that you want from a guy in his first 2 years in the league. So that's great for PPR if you're using him there. 105 targets in the receiving game, 17 touchdowns last year, and that is a lot of touchdowns to have. He had, let's see if I got this right on my notes, 4 multiple touchdown games. So that's a lot of production, and I can't remember the numbers off the top of my head, but he'll have evenly about 800 receiving yards and 800 rushing yards combined with those touchdowns and receptions, along with 105 targets in the receiving game. That's a very safe pick. And with Ingram's departure, some people may see that as a negative and be like, okay, well, there isn't a split backfield anymore. There isn't a complement, so I wouldn't want to take that. But I will say this. I think, if anything, that gives him more carries and more touches as a running back there, because they replaced Ingram with Latavius Murray. And Latavius Murray is a goal line back. He could get some goal line touches, but that doesn't mean he's going to take Ingram's role. That does not. Remember when this Saints signed Adrian Peterson? Adrian Peterson is great, one of the all-time great. It just did not work out there, so it may not work out for Latavius Murray with the role they want him to play there. So I think Alvin will get a ton of touches, and I think he's a very, very safe pick. Talking about safe picks, not much to say about him. He does it every year. Ezekiel Elliott. He is probably the safest, but not the flashiest first round pick that you could take. Um, the guy has scored 12 or more PPR points in 37 of 40 games that he played, and that's most of non-quarterbacks in the past 20 years. So again, safe pick. I like Zeke, but only if the price is right, or only if I was in a position where I needed to take him, because I think I think PPR is the most popular mode to play fantasy football in, and as far as his receiving numbers go, you want that combination of 1,000-yard rusher and somebody that will get good receiving numbers. And but again, his touchdown production could even out his lack of flashiness in the receiving game. So Zeke, very safe pick there. The last one I'll talk about is Melvin Gordon. Now, quick disclaimer before I get in him. I know there's a big issue going on with his whole contract situation in Los Angeles. I get that. But to me, this is my personal opinion on it. He is either going to get signed by the LA Chargers, because they have not been in a situation before where they needed to pay a young superstar. Keenan's been there, haven't paid him huge money because of his health issues. Phillip has always been there and has stuck with that team loyally. Now they have this guy Melvin Gordon, who has really progressed into his own and needs to get paid. So they're either going to pay the guy or they're going to trade him. So Melvin Gordon will have a team this year, and I think his talent level is significant enough to where it does not matter what system he's in, he's going to produce. With that said, he does not stay healthy. He does not, and that's unimpressive. But what is impressive about him is take last year for instance, he played 12 games, had 14 touchdowns in 12 games. So just imagine if he can stay healthy for a full 16. I think that the sky's the limit for him. He's a lot like Alvin, except less touchdowns. He'll get evenly about 800 rushing yards, 700 to 800 receiving yards. Good overall pick. And from a gut feeling, a lot of fantasy football is driven by a gut feeling, along with statistics. Of course, he's in his final year of his rookie deal, so that makes dudes hungry. They want to go out, they want to play, and they want to play hard to be proven for that big money and to be proven for that long-term deal that they have a spot to continue their career somewhere. So those are 5 running backs, I think, there that are the safest and the best options to target in the first round. Again, you have Saquon, you have C-Mac, you have Alvin, you have Melvin, and you have Zeke. Again, in no particular order, I'm just saying if you're drafting in the first round, running backs are the most important position. So if you have a top 5 pick, those are guys that you should consider there. Thank you guys for watching. Again, I'm Jonah. I hope this little discussion helped you with wherever you may be picking this year in your fantasy draft.